starting midnight tonight. It took off 3 minutes before midnight on June 5th on its trip, carrying the 507th into Normandy. And it just doesn't seem like that long ago. My dad is still alive. He's 94 years old, and I talked to him last night about what we were going to do. I told him the 75th anniversary of D-Day. He was in the Pacific, and he said, it just doesn't seem like that long ago. But it is. The Earth keeps turning, and it's really a surreal experience to be able to fly the airplane and really try to put yourself back in that time. It's not responsive like a sports car. It's a little bit more like a bus, but the DC-3 is just one of the most amazing airplanes. I mean, we just came from Texas to here in 4 hours. We had a tailwind, so to give you a little credit there. But we came here in 4 hours, and we were doing 180 knots. The airplane is capable of carrying 32 people. We only have 18 seats. But for an airplane that was first built, and December 17th, 1935 was the first year the DC-3 ever flew. So for an airplane that was designed in the early to mid-30s and first flew in 1935 to be able to leave Texas and come here, we could have made Boston nonstop with an hour of fuel left. With the tailwind, okay. Going back, we would have had to stop. But I mean, it was an amazing airplane in the advancement of what it did, not only for the airlines, but for the military because everything was a derivative of the DC-3 when the DC-3 first flew. This particular airplane was built as a C-47. So the cargo door, the floor, the way it was configured, that configuration, they call that a C-47. I think they built over 12,000 of them. We learned of an amazing history that this airplane has, and it is, as far as we know, it's the most documented combat aircraft of World War II flying in the world today, the airplane we're on today. 42, 32, 832, built in Santa Monica, ended up in Florida. It flew the southern route to South America, went across to Africa on the southern route. Almost every airplane that dropped troops at Normandy took the northern route. That's where everybody went, Greenland, Iceland, Scotland, that way. So this took the southern route, and it participated in the very first mission of World War II where a United States paratrooper jumped into battle, which was the invasion of Sicily, Husky 1. It flew Husky 1, it dropped 18 paratroopers. It flew Husky 2 that next night, was almost shot down. Unfortunately, I believe they shot down 30 plus DC-3s that night, and it was friendly fire. It was British and American ships shot our airplanes down, loaded with paratroopers. Need to read up on that one. Any of you guys that want to read about a mission, it's the worst instance of friendly fire that we've ever experienced. That was Husky 2. It went on to fly up into Italy, the invasion of Italy, which was Avalanche. It dropped 18 paratroopers that night. Then it made its way to England, where it participated in D-Day France. That's what we're celebrating, the anniversary of that. Again, midnight tonight, or 3 minutes before midnight, it took off for that trip. 18 paratroopers of the 507th. The interesting thing is we know almost everything about that mission. We know its formation, placement. We know we have the jump roster. We know every single person on board. We know the supplies that were on board. It was flown by Don King, and we have his personal diary backing up every one of these combat missions in first person. And I'll share with you that diary. You'll really enjoy reading that. And then it went on to fly the invasion of Holland, which was Market Garden. 3 missions that were combat missions. The first one was the parachute mission. The second was a glider tow. It pulled a CG-4 Waco glider in and dropped it with a Jeep, and we know who was flying the glider. It was John Nickerson, and we actually have his diary. He flew 1 mission in World War II, and he wrote a diary about his experience, and we, only just a few years ago, we put that together. As you can tell, we like history. And after that, the last mission of the war that a paratrooper jumped was crossing the Rhine into Germany, plunder. It was Varsity, and so it flew that mission. So it flew the first one, the last one, hundreds of supply missions to the front line and hospital missions back. And again, with the diary that backed up every single combat mission in such detail, we turned right to heading 087. I mean, what pilot ever says 087? That's east, that's 090. But it was that detailed, and it was written by notes as he was a prolific guy that wrote. He was only 24 years old.